Okay, everybody, here we go. It is me, Gregory Mannarino, and I believe we are live. I hope everyone here can hear me. All right, so this is, of course, my post-market wrap-up on this absolutely. Look, anyone that follows this blog is laughing. The freak show, the Maxine Waters, the Joe Bidens, whatever things they want to float out. That's just what they do. The nonsense, deceptions, distractions. Everything to keep people, not focusing on what's actually going on here. So let's cover some of that. Let's start off with the market here. An extremely volatile day. You got stocks higher out of the gate, and then no, and no lower. I'm sorry, out of the gate. Then of course we get a pretty profound rebound higher, and then we sold off into the close, with the Nasdaq being the only positive for the day. Okay, whatever. I'm not looking at that really too much. I don't think any of you are overly focused on what the stock market does. You got to watch this debt market, the driver here. There's an enormous amount of debt buying going on here. It's not enough. It wasn't enough. Even the dollar today on a relative strength basis fell off of a cliff. That wasn't enough to put a real spark underneath this stock market. No real fear trade here. I know everyone's looking at the VIX. I don't think, look, the VIX is a volatility indicator. I like to look at what the relative strength of the dollar is telling me if there's a fear trade going on. We had a massive reduction in the relative strength of the value of the dollar today. It felt like 0.8% or almost 0.9. That's a lot on a relative strength basis. Thank you, Caleb's. Anyway, 10-year yield fell. Okay, no surprise. All this debt buying here. Who's buying it? Ain't me. It ain't you. I know there are probably some people out here that got to own that debt, but I think we know who the real culprit is here. It's pretty obvious to me. Bitcoin, cryptos took off today. Bitcoin over 24,000. Gold put on like 2.75%. Silver, 6.62%. Crude oil got hit. That's what the markets did. Okay, lovely and fantastic. But look, they had to float out whatever freaks they could find today. I mean, Biden, okay, whatever it is, it's a thing as well. It's a mummy. And then they had to dig up, they had to dust off the other thing over there, Maxine Waters, to tell you that the banking system is safe. You see, here's the deal. What they're not going to allow you to know is it would take weeks, if not months, to actually decipher what went wrong here. What also they're not explaining to people is these institutions, any financial institution, thank you, Mitch, not just regional banks, small banks, big banks, investment banks, and they all have to report to the regulatory bodies on a regular basis to show them their books. Okay, this is what's going on. We're solvent. We can function. But again, we have to trust and have faith in the regulators. No, this is all deliberate. Let me tell you something else here. Okay, so what did we find out's going on? We got the Federal Reserve. Think about this. Think about what I'm going to tell you right now. The Federal Reserve is providing loans to multiple institutions where we're not even allowed to know who they are. Oh no, it's a big secret. There was a private closed door meeting today at the Federal Reserve, and they're going to be issuing loans to who knows how many institutions. See, you and I, it's above our pay grade. Just because we're citizens of this supposedly free nation, which we are all slaves, we're not allowed to know who's getting loans. Okay, I don't think that's fair. Thank you, Cigarette. I appreciate it. Do you think it's right that, well, let's put this into perspective. The Federal Reserve is going to be offering loans to these institutions that are obviously insolvent to some degree, which admits the regulators. They didn't see that one coming. No. They were watching porn on their computers, okay, instead of paying attention, of course. No, the fact of the matter is they know what's going on. They knew what was going on. What we're seeing right now, nothing is what it seems to be. Okay. You're going to get more institutions here. And I don't care how many loans they want to lend out to insolvent institutions that are going to be absorbed by the larger institutions as they consolidate power. This is a consolidation, people. I hope you're all hip to what's going on here. Okay. The financial system is going through a metamorphosis right now. The smaller institutions, by design, are going to be allowed to be absorbed by design, pennies on the dollar, by the larger institutions. That's what they're talking about right now. Okay, behind closed doors here at the Federal Reserve, they're talking about how are we going to get the large institutions that are too big to fail to absorb the smaller institutions that are too big to fail, because you see, the smaller institutions that are too big to fail, they're getting loans from the Federal Reserve and promises from the government, because the government has no money. Where's the government getting the cash to guarantee the depositors and everybody? Where's that come from? Maybe you want to let me know, because it ain't the FDIC. The FDIC don't even have a fraction of what they're going to need to bail out this whole system here. The insurance, the FDIC insurance, it's nonsense. Anyway, that's the situation. You can't make this stuff up. Thank you, Benson the Bear. Yeah, the freak show does get freakier every single day. But look, honestly, I can sit here with a smile on my face. Let me show you. And I can say that everybody here who's been following this blog, who's participated in this blog for I don't know how long, you all knew this was coming. You think this is done by any way, shape, or form? Thank you, Jazzy Journey. No, absolutely freaking not. We haven't even begun to see this thing unfold, people. I'm telling you right now. So just don't take your eyes off the ball. What's going on here is nothing has changed. Okay, this is what you would have expected to happen here: a consolidation of power. Right up to the mega banks on Wall Street. The smaller institutions are going to be absorbed somehow. Dumb money media. Thank you for that. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, look. Are you surprised? How many of you are shocked or surprised even in the slightest bit? Thank you, Extra Millie 150 from my drag racing buddy. Anyway, people, look. What we're seeing here is a systemic breakdown. I've been telling you this since actually before it happened. If you look at my videos just prior to this, this got everyone, no one saw this one coming. I was telling people, systemic breakdown. We're breaking down. We're melting down. We have a global economy. It's over. It's over. Okay. Central banks raising rates into a dying economy. This is what they were trying to do. Break the system. They're going to issue in a new system. They're going to wipe out the new system first. And there's got to be a tremendous public outcry. It's going to come. Trust me on this one. I think most of you already know that. But that's where we're going with this whole thing, people. It's out of control. What else can I tell you here? So the secret meeting at the Fed to discuss how they're going to get the large banks to take over the smaller banks. You see, because the big banks are in the same boat as the little banks, but you're not supposed to know that. 3 things, people. You know what I'm going to tell you? No deposits, no loans, and no deals. I said this from like 8 months ago. Thank you, Michael Paul. Epic fail. Oh, that thing is funny. People, okay. So if we know, well, the banks aren't getting any deposits because people are they're not unable to make ends meet in this environment that's engineered against them. No loans and no deals. What did we find out just last week? Year over year. I want you to think about what I'm going to tell you. Year over year, applications for new mortgages is down over 42%. Refis down over 75%. No deals. Okay, you understand what's going on here? So the big banks, you're not allowed to know what's going on. They're in the same boat as the little banks, but they're going to find a way to have the big banks get the assets of the smaller banks for pennies on the dollar. Okay, that's how this is going to play out. I think it's all quite obvious, I think, to everyone here. Anyway, how many of you find it entertaining, maybe that's the word, that you got Maxine Waters, whatever it is. That's not human. There's no way that thing is human. And you got the mummy himself telling you that the banking system is fine. There's nothing to worry about here. Didn't we hear these same kind of words the last time the entire financial system was melting down? Oh, yes, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, yeah, we got it all under control. Again, look, let me ask you this while we're all friends here, right? Why? So let's say, for example, our illustrious president, let's just put this into perspective. Our illustrious president, he's very illustrious, okay? Um, we made sure that he said, oh, we fired the management of this bank here. Oh, okay. How about the regulators? They didn't see this coming, really. You see, they're going to be. It's always the deception, the distraction. The first day this happened, they were blaming the management and they were blaming the borrowers. They were blaming borrowers who were paying back their loans because they were burning through cash. But meanwhile, they were paying back their loans. That's what they were doing. It's a blame game. So don't worry. Everything is fine. It's perfectly normal. Thank you, Robert. There's nothing to worry about here. But I'm going to tell you right now, get your cash out of these institutions. I've been telling everyone here, keep only in the bank or any bank, okay, what you need to pay bills. And with regard to these smaller banks, you already see it. It's everywhere. These smaller banks are seeing withdrawals off the freaking Richter scale, just as you and I knew was going to happen. We discussed it right here. People are going to pull their cash out of the smaller institutions and throw them right into the Wall Street mega banks. And the Wall Street mega banks are spraying their shorts all over the place like you can't even possibly believe. But that's exactly what's going on here. Okay, this is, and you're absolutely right. I'm just reading the comments here. This is some kind of, obviously, these loans that are being issued to the banks that we're not allowed to know who they are. We're not. How can that possibly be? Let me ask you, really. So the Federal Reserve, okay, which is no more federal than Federal Express, but they're part of the government, but they're not part of the government, and we're not allowed to know who really runs them. Of course, we do. But let's see. They're going to be making loans to the banks, but we can't know which banks they are. We can't know. How is that even fair? In honestly, really, do you think that's right? I don't think that's right. Anyway, it's so freaking crazy, people, what we're seeing here. All right, so with that said, look, I know how lovely it is and fantastic it is to watch the stock market. I think the market's got troubles here, honestly, right now. A lot of debt buying today, especially. Dollar falling off of a cliff on a relative strength basis, but meanwhile, the major indices couldn't put on any gains here. Okay, what do we know about the stock market? It's in la la land. What do we know about the real estate market? It's in la la land. What do we know about pretty much every single asset across the board? There's no price discovery anymore. There's nothing that's real, nothing at all. Okay, everything has been twisted and distorted by runaway central banks who have done nothing but prop up a real estate bubble again and a freaking stock market bubble, and in the meantime, created an environment that has no bearing on reality. I think we're pretty much on top of it. Don't you think so? Look, you and I have been so far ahead of the curve on all this. It's unbelievable. Just look at the old videos. Look at them all. Okay. We got it down. We know what they're doing. We know what they're trying to pull off. We know who our enemies are. Period. Okay, what are we going to do about it? I guess that's the real thing. Are we going to change? Are we going to change a damn thing that we're doing? No. We're going to bet against the debt, become our own central bank, hold hard assets, physical gold, silver, my favorite asset of all time. Thank you, Mr. Trees. Credit unions, look, they're all going to be, all these institutions are, credit unions might be a little safer, but I'm not going to say anything here is safe right now. You all have a worry. If you do you realize, everybody here, my bank, my credit union, my whatever it might be, when you put your cash in these institutions, it really does not belong to you anymore. It more or less belongs to that institution. And with regard to the fractional reserve system that I hope all of you know about, your cash isn't even in there. 10%. That's all that's in there. So you gotta look, if you're gonna put your cash in any institution or an investment or whatever, you gotta realize there's risk here. The only way there is no risk if you want to take your cash and shove it under your mattress, but then I guess your house can get robbed. I mean, who knows, people? This is just completely insane. Anyway, with that said, let's do a few questions here. So Big Clyde says Bitcoin to zero. Clyde, you let me know when that happens. I've been hearing that for a very, very long time. You've all been wrong. Congratulations on that. Greg, when is the collapse? The collapse is happening now. It's been going on for the longest time, and central banks are raising rates into a global economy that is it's done. And it's being brought about by design. And what we're seeing now is no surprise to a single. You haven't seen anything yet. You think this is it? This is as bad as it's gonna get? This is it. It's all gonna get beautiful and rosy and perfect. How about no? How about absolutely not? Okay, that's why we're gonna stick to our plan. Okay, bet against the debt, become our own central banks, get ourselves on the right side of this equation. Anyway, it's going to get so much worse. Again, I'm just reading through the comments here. I'm just looking at what's coming across the screen here. What about the gold? You guys and girls love the gold, don't you? It's a thing. I've trained myself to not have to do the face anymore. I think I had a little Tourette syndrome, but I've come to learn how to control that. Yeah, all these banks, Credit Suisse, all of them. You think any of these things are solvent? The whole entire financial system is insolvent. The whole entire financial system is a train wreck. And where would you expect it to begin? Where would you even, if you had to guess, let's see, because I know all of you are really smart. Okay. Thank you, LJB. We'll talk about JEPI in a moment. If you had to guess where you would first start to see the financial system come apart, other than the dollar losing its purchasing power every freaking single day, and other fiat currencies around the world, that central banks are in a race to the bottom. Central banks are in a race to the bottom to destroy their currencies and bring down the financial system. Where do you expect it to see? I guess second. So the currency is dissolving. And then second, of course, you're going to see it in the institutions. And of course, it would be the smaller ones. I mean, come on now, people, really. Now, JEPI. Okay, I still own JEPI. I'm going to hold on to this thing. It's a long-term investment. And if I have an opportunity, I'm going to buy. And I'm long-term meaning decades. Okay, not like a year or two. Look for opportunities to buy more of this stuff, in my opinion. But always do your own research. Look at the prospectus, and that's pretty much it. Anyway, what else you guys want to talk about here? Okay, another person here putting down cryptocurrencies. Great. I mean, I've heard it all. There's nothing you can tell me that I haven't heard. But you'd rather be in the dollar, wouldn't you? I bet you would. It's too funny. It's too funny. Intel, I would not. I don't know if I'd be dabbing into tech right here. Let's see. With regard to tech, okay, that's actually a pretty good question here. With regard to looking at INTC or tech. Look, the tech sector is really sensitive to wherever the Fed's going to end up putting yields. So, you might want to hold off for a little bit. I believe after what's happened here, as of late, I told you that light bulb went off in my head. We're going to get a 25 basis point hike. Not a 50. And I don't think the Fed's got the guts to pause right now. I think we're going to get a 25 and then a pause, because otherwise they're just going to look like bigger imbeciles than they already are. They're data dependent. They're looking at all the data, but they didn't see the bank failures coming. Oh, no. Everything. Make it up. Make any of this stuff up, people. Yeah, you can't do it. Thank you, Rich Clark. I like the purple haired guy. Yeah, it's too much. It really is. Anyway, so people, let's do like one or two more. I want to keep these kind of short. As I said, people complain when these get too long. Thank you, Olaf. I appreciate that, from Sweden. Wow. We got people from everywhere here. Everywhere. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it's torture listening to anyone in the Freak Show. I'm just responding again. Yellen, Bidenstein, Maxine Waters, whatever they want to throw at us, Look, good. Let them do their thing. We're going to continue to do our thing, and that's pretty much it. Anyway, all right, people. Let's call this here. I think we covered enough. This is 20 minutes long. It pushes the edge of the envelope for a lot of people before they start having a meltdown. Anyway, all right, people. Look, so that's it. I mean, look, honestly, really, is any of this a surprise to you? Any at all? MC Hamster 55, thank you. Has definitely come out to the reverse repo. Look, this reverse repo thing. Let me expose this again. Okay, what's the Federal Reserve trying to do with these reverse repo operations here? I'm going to expose it here for the millionth time. What this is a mechanism. Okay, trillions of dollars passing between institutions overnight here. This is a way to trick the system into thinking that it's more liquid than it is. No matter what they do, no matter how big they make these repos, reverse repos, no matter how much how much debt they buy, it ain't enough. It's never enough. The system is totally insolvent because it demands more and more debt every single day. Thank you, Fabi. U.S. dollars leading via and that's just the rope. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, people. A lot of crypto haters out here. I love it. Hate it all you want. Who cares what you hate or what you love? I personally don't give a damn, to be honest with you. You just got to know where to get yourself, people. Look, you don't have to love cryptos. You don't have to love gold and silver or the markets or anything. You just got to know what to do about it. Okay? And there's no reason why you need to be in cryptocurrencies, gold or silver or anything.